And now, please welcome Grammy Award winner and Just Communities of Arkansas's 2021 Humanitarian Awardee, Rosanne Cash, performing her #1 Billboard hit, 7-Year Ache.
Hi everyone, I'm Rosanne Cash. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad I'm here.
What do
Just born tonight, face down in a memory, but feeling alright. So who does your past belong to today? Maybe you don't say nothing when you're feeling this way. The girls in the bar saying, who is this guy? They don't think nothing when they're telling you lies. You look so careless when they're shooting that bull. Do you know heartaches are heroes when their pockets are full? Tell me you're trying to cure the 7-year ache and see what else your old heart can take. Boys say, when is he gonna give us some room? The girls say, God, I hope he comes back soon. Why don't you come around? Baby, what is so great about sleeping downtown? There's plenty of times to be someone you're not. So you're looking for something you might have forgot. And don't bother calling to say you're leaving alone. There's a fool on every corner when you're trying to get home. Just tell her you're trying to kill the 7-year ache and see what else you know.
Welcome to the Just Communities of Arkansas 2021 Humanitarian Awards Celebration. This celebration caps 18 months of diversity, inclusion, and equity work throughout the state of Arkansas. We were not able to be with you last year because of the global pandemic, but we're very excited to be here this year to honor two very important people as well as the work of JCA. I'm Kwami Abdul-Bey.
And I'm Clarice Abdul-Bey.
And we are the co-conveners of the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement.
Before we get started, we would like to start with a land acknowledgement honoring the indigenous First Nations people of this land we call Arkansas. We would like to honor the Quapaw, the Osage, and the Caddo, recognizing that through colonization, these First Native people were driven from this land. We honor the spirit of the First Nations people of Arkansas, and we'd like to take a moment and ask you to join us in honoring them.
One of the most important things about a nonprofit organization is its board of directors. The board of directors determine the direction of where that organization is going. It's like the secret sauce that puts flavor in the organization. And JCA is honored to have one of the most diverse and dynamic board of directors in the state of Arkansas, with two very important people at the helm.
Absolutely, Kwami. And we'd like to present to you our 2021 board co-chairs, Dr. Sarah Tarek and Reverend Preston Clegg.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Sarah Tarek, and I am co-chair of the Board of Just Communities of Arkansas.
And I'm Preston Clegg. I'm the other co-chair, though anyone who knows Sarah knows I'm more like the vice co-chair. We know who is doing the heavy lifting this year.
Not really, not really. We are really excited to have you all join us this evening. And for those of you who are new to Just Communities of Arkansas, we'd like to take a minute just to talk about our organization. JCA, or Just Communities of Arkansas, is an amazing organization where we work to build conversations and build safe spaces to do the hard culture change work at the organizational level, at the city level, the state level, and the national level to really create culture, to build equity, and create social justice spaces.
I'm a Christian minister, and my faith teaches me and the people I pastor that we should strive to be people who care about justice and equity and inclusion, that our God is a God of all people. And a few years ago, I began looking at the horizons to see who was actually doing that work, boots on the ground, doing the work of justice and equity, and I discovered Just Communities of Arkansas. I've been a proud partner ever since, and I'm more than honored to be co-chair of the board this year. And it's one of the best nights of the year, right, Sarah?
It is, absolutely. It is our 2021 Humanitarian Awards Ceremony, which is an amazing event where we take the time to honor the amazing people who do work on the ground, who are public figures, who are the quiet soldiers and the activists and the angels who work to build equity and create safe spaces for everybody in this country.
Absolutely. And I think justice work can be exhausting, it can be excruciating, in this season agonizing even. And so to pause once a year and to celebrate the work, to rediscover the joy in the work and celebrate what we see in each other, that feels good tonight. So welcome and bring your joy to this work. I also am grateful that we pause and not just think about justice, equity, inclusion ephemerally, but we celebrate the people who are doing that work wherever they are, whoever they are. And we don't just think about the footprints of the work before us, but the feet. We celebrate those doing the work. Absolutely.
And an organization that we're really excited to partner with is the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement, APJMN, which is this amazing, really brave, bright organization that is really bringing light to our state. APJMM creates those safe spaces for stories, for the stories that have been buried, for those stories that people don't necessarily talk about or know about. And it is those stories of people of our state who have suffered, lost their lives even, at the cost of, at the hands of white supremacy, at the hands of hate and injustice. And this organization brings to light those stories.
Yes, we're proud partners with APJMM. We all know that we cannot truly heal what we refuse to name and acknowledge. In my mind, at least, this organization, Kwami and Clarice, they are doing the work of telling the truth about our history, not just to dwell back there, but to heal our present and our future so that we can live into a different tomorrow. So welcome, we're glad that you're here tonight. Join in all the celebration, and let's renew ourselves for the work ahead.
The Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement is a collaborative effort between the Ouachita Foothills Youth Media Arts and Literacy Collective and Just Communities of Arkansas. WAFLMAC is our nonprofit that we started a few years ago, and after taking a trip to Montgomery, Alabama, to the Equal Justice Initiative's Lynching Museum and Memorial, we came back to Arkansas determined to figure out what we can do here in our state to honor the legacy of those victims 493 plus recorded and documented who have lost their lives to historical racialized terror lynchings here in the state of Arkansas. At the same time, we also are very encouraged to make sure that the descendants of both the victims and the perpetrators come to the table to start a community-wide discussion of conciliation.
And now we introduce the 2021 Humanitarian Award awardee, Rosanne Cash's first of 2 performances, The Killing Fields.
It's great to be here with my friends Kwami and Clarice. This is a song I wrote about lynchings in Arkansas and my own complicated history with the South, and really about breaking the strains of racism that come through the generations and making a commitment to healing and reparation. This is called The Killing Fields. You crossed on Brooklyn Ferry, not a boy but not a man, left behind the Navy Yard and your father's mislaid plans. I was at the other ocean and I could not get away from the flurry of emergencies every single day. There was cotton on the killing fields, it blows down through the years, sticks to me just like a burn, fills my eyes and ears. And all that came before me is not everything I am. A girl who settled far too low on religion and that man. Low above the rocky soil, the high tide of the trees, the dust of men and thunderstorms, the parched and rolling sea. He's running through the killing fields just like a hunted deer. Impartial moon, uncaring stars, he falls where no one hears. Blood that runs on cypress trees could not be washed away by mother's tears and gasoline and secrets unbetrayed. I know it's hard to hear these words, they sure are hard to say. But listen to the mockingbird who sings over their graves. Ripple of the laugh unlived, the ghosts of mice and men, the empty space of one man's heart and what he might have been. And Saint Margaret, she looks over us, Saint Margaret and her kin. At the far edge of the killing fields, she stands there now and then. So goodbye to your Navy Yard, goodbye to my sea. A truce between the East and West and my Southern history. Goodbye to the killing fields, I'll break every single bough. 'Cause all that came before you and all that came before me, all that came before us is not who we are now.
Thank you, Roseanne. Thank you for that beautifully moving song highlighting the disgraceful history of racial terror lynchings. And thank you for donating the proceeds from the vinyl sales of The Killing Fields to benefit the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement in our mission to raise awareness about the history of lynchings in the state of Arkansas. Just Communities of Arkansas would like to take this moment to thank those organizations who helped make this event possible through their generous donations. We want to pay special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Legacy Termite, and our Town sponsor, Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield. Your gifts, along with our other sponsors, demonstrates your commitment to advancing racial equity in Arkansas through helping to ensure the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement has the resources it needs to memorialize the nearly 500 documented victims of racial violence in Arkansas and foster meaningful dialogue about race and justice. JCA would also like to invite all of you participating in this online event to consider taking action towards racial justice by making a donation in support of the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement's operations and programming. If you believe in the power of racial healing through truth and reconciliation and are in a financial position to give, there are several ways to do that, as you can see now on your screen. If you are unable to see those options, you can visit www.arkansasjustcommunities.org, call 501-372-5129, or email dwood@justcommunities.org. JCA truly appreciates your consideration of our request to join us in our mission to build bridges of understanding, respect, and action. And speaking of justice and action, it's time now to move on to our first award. Congressman John Lewis, legend of the civil rights movement and iconic grassroots organizer, died during the summer of 2020 in the midst of a widespread uprising for racial justice in the United States. In today's society, long after the sit-ins, protests, and freedom rides of the 1950s and 1960s, his legacy of fighting against systemic racism has taken on renewed meaning. From his notion of a beloved community for which he vowed to keep fighting, to his call for us to get out of our homes and participate in productive protest. That was the good trouble he often spoke of, even at one of his last public speeches on the 55th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, where Lewis almost died crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge. There in Selma, Alabama on March 2020, Lewis urged the crowd from that notorious bridge to, quote, "Speak up, speak out, get in the way, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America," end quote. So in the spirit of Lewis and his ideas of empathy, active protest, and courageous sacrifice, and in light of the unique times our world has faced during a pandemic and racial justice reckoning, JCA created a special recognition this year to honor the unique community leadership demonstrated by Arkansas social justice activist and community leader Don Jeffrey. Named the Good Trouble Award, this recognition is meant to capture Don's grassroots advocacy as the embodiment of Lewis's philosophy for social change. Don has exhibited a commitment to consistently speaking up, speaking out, and getting in the way wherever she sees unrighteousness, injustice, and unfairness here in Arkansas, regardless of the personal and professional risks inherently connected, including Don's current unjust incarceration. At the time of this event recording, she's been held without charges for over 100 days in a federal prison for allegations she's not only pleaded not guilty to and has stated that she did not have anything to do with. There's been no evidence reviewed or presented to Don in relation to this case. So without further ado, here to present the Good Trouble Award is JCA Board Director Ryan Davis.
There's a great poem that I love by Gwendolyn Brooks, great black poet laureate. Her poem, The Second Sermon on the Warpland, says that the whirlwind is our commonwealth. And as oddly juxtaposed as those words are, the idea that the whirlwind is something that we own in common really strikes me and reminds me in a lot of ways of my dear sister, Brittany Dawn Jeffrey. I'm proud to be a part of this presentation today, but I'm simultaneously saddened at the fact that for nearly 150 days, Brittany Dawn Jeffrey, Asada X, my friend, my comrade, has been imprisoned without the benefit of trial, without the benefit of even a presentation of the accusations against her. And so, in as much as I can, not only do I take part in this presentation in no light way, but I take part in it with a heavy heart. But I also take a part in it with some hopefulness, because I know that there's light on the other side of this. Brittany Dawn Jeffrey is not only a revolutionary activist, but she's somebody who loves very deeply her community. She loves the whirlwind of the immediate community and the larger community that she works in. She's not only a person who's advocated for folks who are locked behind the cell walls. She's not only an advocate for folks who have gone broke, paying into a system that takes money from it without the benefit of even a guilty verdict. She's not only an advocate for folks who protest and folks who've gone to jail for protesting, but she's an advocate for young people who live in the midst of violence. I've seen her advocate, and I've seen her go out and stand in the streets and break up fights. She's also an advocate for, you know, kind of day-to-day living issues like clean neighborhoods. She's a person who, in between freeing folks from jail, has gone about doing neighborhood cleanups with her own money. And so Dawn is a very full picture of what it means to be people-oriented, what it means to lead people with love. Because as Reverend Jesse Jackson says in this cadence, you can't lead the people unless you love the people. And so I'm grateful for Dawn's love. I'm looking forward to her freedom, and we fight therefore. Congratulations on this award. It's well-deserved, and I, as meager as I can, present it to you.
And accepting on behalf of Dawn Jeffrey is her sister, Ashley Jeffrey, her mother, Christine Jeffrey, and Dawn's daughter, Breon Jeffrey.
Good trouble is risky. Despite this, we trust Dawn's passion and her personal feeling of duty to fight for our freedom as human beings. She wrote this message to accept this award. Peace to the masses who will hear my words. I want to first thank the Most High. Next, my family who stands as representation to amplify my voice. I'm thankful that my work has been noticed, but I think even more importantly, I'm happy to see people continuing to do the work. And if you aren't, I hope that you will get involved with this. The Good Trouble Award is fitting. I believe anyone that begins to take a stand by speaking out against injustices must be prepared for a good trouble. It didn't begin with me, and I don't believe it will end with me. What I do know is that the fight must continue so that our children can see a better tomorrow. We have a long way to go, but now more than ever, we need to give more energy to loving, uplifting, and educating our communities than we give to fighting a system unwilling to change. I am currently being detained in Greene County Detention Center for testing positive for THC, though I am a medical marijuana card holder. I am awaiting trial for alleged property damage for which I am facing up to 30 years in prison. The government continues to profit on marijuana not only through distribution, but also through the incarceration of human beings for medical marijuana charges. The system should be created anew. Until that time comes, we the people can continue to advocate for changes in the system, especially relating to the balance of power. Changes like ending mandatory minimums to rebalance power between prosecutors and judges, as well as getting medical marijuana federally approved to reduce incarceration rates. These are just a few changes. There are many more. Today, I ask that you get involved with the Little Rock Freedom Fund, which I established in 2020 to support activists, organizers, protesters, and community-led efforts. We work to educate, uplift, and liberate our communities. We must all do what we can to make this world a better place. I am thankful for the ones who have gone before me to make this start. I hope you will all join me. I want to end with my favorite quote by Assata Shakur. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. You can contribute to Dawn's legal assistance through her GoFundMe at bit.ly/freedawnjeffrey. Thank you.
And now to present the 2021 Humanitarian of the Year Award to Rosanne Cash is a towering social justice figure in Arkansas. Whether as a higher education administrator, leader in philanthropy, political advisor, or her many other roles and accolades, including as the 2002 Humanitarian of the Year. Please welcome Dr. Sybil Jordan Hampton.
Rosanne Cash is a humanitarian because she works from the heart and not from the ego. This singer, songwriter, author, music community catalyst, woman, and responsible courier of a storied cultural legacy believes in the infinite capacity of human beings to create a better tomorrow and to work to create a better tomorrow. During her remarks after receiving the Spirit of Americana Free Speech Award in September 2018, Cash said, and I quote, "I believe with all my heart that a single child's life is greater and more precious and more deserving of the protection of this nation and of the adults in this room than the right to own a personal arsenal of military-style weapons," end of quote. Using a strength of conviction that no doubt comes from her father, Arkansas's beloved Johnny Cash, Rosanne Cash implored other musicians to use their platform to call for reform of our gun control laws. Rosanne Cash says of her late father, and I quote, "He left the world a better place than he found it, and that's what I hope for. That's what all of us hope for." Our honoree uses the power of music as a tool for social change, her courageous voice to speak up for peace and racial justice, as well as her generous philanthropic gifts. It is an honor and privilege to present the Just Communities of Arkansas's 2021 Humanitarian Award to Rosanne Cash.
Thank you so very much. I'm incredibly honored. When I found out that that Just Communities of Arkansas wanted to give me this award, I said, no. You need to give it to somebody who has boots on the ground, like Kwami and Clarice, or like yourself. So anyway, to receive this award after so many great civil rights workers, icons, and people whose lives are devoted to these causes, to diversity, to healing, to reparation, to reconciliation, is just deeply moving to me. My family, my dad's family are from Arkansas, and I think that it's been in my consciousness in the last few years that it requires more than just snipping the bonds of racism that come down through the generations, like my dad did. But my generation has to go further, and my children's generation will have to go further until these issues aren't paramount all the time. And I think that Just Communities of Arkansas is doing some of the most important work in the world right now, in the world. The pushback is vicious and terrible, and I admire your courage so much. I may get a lot of attention, but I don't know that I have your courage, and you're inspiring to me. So thank you so much, Dr. Hampton, for being so generous in giving this to me. And I want to congratulate Don Jeffrey, too, for the Good Trouble Award. It's spectacular. So should I put in a plug for giving more money? Yes, I should. Give more money to Just Communities of Arkansas and to, the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement as well. I love you guys. Hope to see you in Arkansas soon. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
We'd like to thank you for joining us this evening in honoring our awardees, Rosanne Cash and Don Jeffrey. We'd also like to thank Just Communities of Arkansas for working tirelessly with us over the last 3 years in the fight for social justice.
And we'd like to end this celebration with a second of 2 performances by Rosanne Cash, Crawling to the Promised Land.
The promised land. To the promised land. The night is long, but no one sleeps. The grifters make us pay, and torches burn and mothers weep. Deliver us from Judgment Day. And don't it feel like home? Don't it feel like we belong? You gotta lift your head and raise your hand and crawl into the promised land. Don't it feel like home? Don't it feel like we belong? You gotta lift your head and raise your hand. Crawl into the promised land.